become a doctor. When I was in high school, had an interest in medicine. My dad was a doctor, my mom was a nurse, and I just sort of naturally gravitated to it. But the best advice I think I got from my mother, who was a nurse, is to get into the hospital when you're in high school. Just find a way in. And so I took a job as an orderly in a hospital. So I was wheeling patients around, dropping lab slips off, drawing blood, doing all that kind of stuff. And the main reason I think that that's important is you have to ask yourself one question, you got to have the answer for it. Do you like being around sick people? It seems like a real obvious thing, but if you don't like being around sick people, you need to know that before you go on this long journey toward a medical career. It's amazing how many people that have gotten to the middle of their career in medicine and have spent all this time and invested a lot of their life and money and everything else, and they just don't like being around sick people. And that's something that I would advise you to get in on early. So work in a hospital, volunteer in a lab, do something where you can be around sick people and try to figure out if you like being there or not. I decided I did like being there, so continued to work in a hospital throughout high school and college when I was a pre-medical student. In college, I did something a little bit different than most people. Most people, if they want to be a doctor, major in sciences and are very science-heavy. I'm not really much of a science person. Amazingly enough, you can get through medical school and not be much of a science person. What you really have to do is have a lot of perseverance. It's a long path. I majored in political science because I like to argue about politics, and I found that that was the best major for me. Took the sciences that are required to get into medical school, and off you go. The thing that I think I tell all groups when they're considering a career in medicine is just understand that the journey is pretty long to get there, but don't get caught up in that. 4 years, so you're in high school, right? So 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, and then you do a residency after medical school in whatever specialty you choose. And it varies. Some residencies are as short as 3 years, and some, like mine, are 7 years. So when you go through that journey, you realize I ended up being about 31 years old when I was finished training, which to you guys probably seems middle age. It's not. You're still very young. You still have a long career ahead of you. And you have to understand that during the training process, it's the best years of your life. My closest friends to this day are people I trained with because you were working all the time together. You learned a lot together. You took care of a lot of sick patients together. And I enjoyed every second of it. Wouldn't change a thing about it, even though we were working 100 hours a week. So, what about what happens afterwards? So you picked a specialty, you've gotten trained in that, and then you're out on your own. This is when the field really opens up. There's all kind of choices to you. You can go to a university setting like I did, teach, practice medicine, write. Or you can go into a private practice setting where all you do is take care of patients. You can do just research, like my dad did, and never saw patients. Or you can do something totally different. You can become a doctor that works for an insurance company. Now, that's not something that I would want to do, but it's something that some people choose to do. And so you have to understand that just being a doctor, you have a lot of different options open to you. It fits your personality type. I like to take care of patients. I like to take care of really sick patients. And so this career in transplant works perfectly well for me. I'm an adrenaline junkie, and so I like really sick people, and I like the hours. I like to work. So it works great for me. The other part of it is, and I'll put this up as the first thing, this field gives to you more than you get from it. I mean, it just keeps giving you stuff more than you even invest in it. I've got patients over the years, Christmas cards and emails and letters and things just telling me that what I'm doing matters to them. And I think that that's the greatest reward. Because if you go off to work every day, and it doesn't matter if you're practicing law or in business or an engineer, if you can go off to work every day and what you do matters, that's pretty good. That's not a job. That's actually a mission. And I think that that's what's wonderful about what I've been having the privilege to do for this many years, is to have something that I think really matters to other people. I help other people. And I think that that's the key. And that's what gets you through all the hard work. One thing about medicine that actually my kids, who are younger than you guys, ask me all the time is, why do you have to wake up so early to practice medicine? And the reason you do is the patients actually need your help early in the morning, and you need to develop a plan. So it's one of those things where when I was in high school, I didn't like waking up early, and I didn't seek a career that I had to wake up early. But it is one of those things where you really want to get out of bed and get going in the morning, go help those folks in the hospital, and kind of get a plan for the day started. So when I think of the best part of my career, it's by far the patient interactions that I've had and the people that have been appreciative of the efforts that not just me, but members of our team have done to try to help them. And that's what I wanted to talk about as well. Practicing medicine is a team sport. It's never about one person. We have 50 people on our team. So our transplant team, when we're transplanting lungs, hearts, there's about 50 people working at any one time to make that happen. And so if you like to work all by yourself, probably not the best thing in the world to do. If you like working as part of the team, a very good thing to do. So I would encourage those that like to work by themselves, that a research career might be better, because you tend to work more by yourself, whereas if you're delivering patient care, you tend to work more as a team. Now, the great thing about medicine also, I think, is the specialty choice. Remember I said you can pick a specialty that fits your personality? Some people want to be a pediatrician. I personally don't like little kids yelling in my ear all the time, so that wasn't good for me. Some people wanted to be an OB/GYN doctor. Didn't want to deliver babies. Didn't want to do that. Got that experience in medical school. It was wonderful. Didn't want to do that for a career. By the way, I held the record at Tulane Medical School for a 1-month rotation on OB/GYN. I delivered 60 babies. So that's still a record in medical school. It's not on my resume, but I need to put it in there. 60 babies. So the people that like to work more by themselves become radiologists, read x-rays all day. That's a great field. Not for me though, but a good field. So the point of it is, as you go through these specialties, you get to try each one when you're in medical school, and you get to figure out really what works for you, and it becomes really clear what works for you. Hardly anybody picks a specialty and then decides to do something else later. It becomes real clear what you want to do. So what happens now? What's my day like? Out of bed around 5, to the hospital around 6:30 or so. Work to get home every night for dinner. So I have little kids and I want to be at home. And so get home at about 5:30 or 6. 12-hour kind of day. Goes by fast. Seems like the blink of an eye. And then there you are. As I've gotten toward middle age, I work less than I used to when I was younger, and that's pretty typical for a doctor. I don't work nearly as hard as I used to, and I think that kind of happens as the career evolves over time. Don't be put off by the hard work. The hard work, it's as you see when you go through the career, it's really something that is natural when you become a doctor. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of people to take care of, and it's not going to seem like work. Trust me on that. You probably don't believe me. But trust me that it's not going to seem like hard work. So that's kind of the typical day. What kind of patients do we take care of? So our group has bad lungs, all of them. And they have inherited diseases like cystic fibrosis. They have diseases that are just bad luck, like pulmonary fibrosis, scarring of the lung. or a disease called pulmonary hypertension, where the blood pressure is too elevated in the lungs. And then we've got diseases where people smoke, emphysema. We take care of people with lung cancer, often due to smoking. I know nobody in here would consider smoking, but you may have heard that some people out there do it. Don't. If I could, actually, in previous years, I brought lungs with me of cigarette smokers and held them up, and that would pretty much seal the deal, I think, for most of you if you saw that. So, I think the bottom line message that I want to give you, and then I'm going to take some questions. A lot of different options for you. It seems like a long haul, but it really goes by fast, and you're really enjoying the time that you're learning medicine. And remember that being a doctor is not the only thing in healthcare. There's nursing, there's physical therapy, there's occupational therapy, there's speech therapy, there's all sorts of different careers in medicine. And there's a demand, a high demand for those fields as well. So if being a doctor doesn't seem like a right fit for you, there's something else in medicine that will be. And all of these fields are very gratifying. So a lot of different choices out there to fit your personality type. I'm going to start talking and just take some questions. Anybody have any? Yes, sir.
How easy do you find it to manage personal life and work as a doctor?
Great question. So traditionally, doctors have been very bad at that. We got trained in an era where there was no limit to how much work you would do in a day. I was on